Every good thing is from above is the second of the two Upbuilding Discourses published by Kierkegaard in 1843. It starts with the biblical verses: Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. This discourse deals with the new way a Christian sees once he's discovered that he has faith. Again, one is not to explain what faith is. That would be a waste of time. In Fear and Trembling, Kierkegaard says, even if someone were able to transpose the whole content of faith into conceptual form, it does not follow that he has comprehended faith, comprehended how he entered into it or how it entered into him. Faith is not an outer good, it is for the inner man. Kierkegaard says the following in concluding unscientific postscript. In the godly discourse about faith, the main point is that it informs us how you and I, that is, single individuals, become believers, and that the speaker helps tear out of all illusions and knows about the long and laborious way and about relapse. We sit in church and observe what faith is capable of doing, not as believers but as spectators of the achievements of faith. Just as in our day we do not have speculative thinkers but spectators of the achievements of speculative thought. But for the theocentric, speculative, and the objective age, it is, of course, more likely far too little to become involved in the ultimate difficulties where the question ultimately becomes as sharp, as penetrating, as disturbing, as uncompromising as possible about whether the individual, you and I, is a believer and about how we relate ourselves to faith from day to day. It is very difficult for an individual to know that God is good. We can try to change God and make our wishes his wishes, but then Kierkegaard explains, I would have been weak enough to make him just as weak. Then I would have lost him and my trust in him. Kierkegaard asks questions to try to understand how faith can be understood by an individual. He says, is there joy in heaven, only sorrow on earth, or only the news that there is joy in heaven? Does God in heaven bring out the good gifts and lay them for us in heaven so that we can receive them sometime in the hereafter? His understanding is that God makes good and perfect gifts for anyone who has enough heart to be humble. Speaking of those who do not understand these words, he says, they let their thought for a moment occupy itself with the words, and then they said, now we have understood them, bring us some new thoughts which we have not understood. Nor would they have been wrong, for the apostles' words are not difficult, yet they proved thereby, in that after having understood them, they wished to abandon them, that they had not understood them. Then he speaks of doubt, saying, still doubt is cunning and wily, by no means vociferous and defiant, as it is sometimes claimed to be. It is unobtrusive and crafty, not impudent and arrogant, and the more unassuming it is, the more dangerous it is. It does not deny that those words are beautiful, nor that they are comforting. If it did this, then would the heart rebel against it? It merely says that the words are difficult, almost mysterious. It wishes to help the troubled mind to understand the apostolic saying that every good and every perfect gift is from God. Too often individuals pervert God's good gifts to their own detriment, or the second one wish is fulfilled, they ask for another, without even remembering to say thanks to God for the first wish. He says, is then the apostolic word that every good and every perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights a dark and difficult saying? And if you believe that you cannot understand it, dare you assert that you have wished to understand it? If you doubted whether it came from God or whether it was a good and perfect gift, have you dared to make the test? And when the easy play of happiness beckoned you, have you thanked God? And when you were so strong that it seemed as if you needed no assistance, have you thanked God? And when your allotted share was small, have you thanked God? And when your allotted share was suffering, have you thanked God? And when your wish was denied you, have you thanked God? And when you must deny yourself your wish, have you thanked God? And when men did you wrong and offended you, have you thanked God? We do not say that the wrong done you by men thereby ceased to be a wrong, for that it would be an untrue and foolish speech. Whether it was wrong you must yourself decide. But have you referred the wrong and the offense to God, and by your thanksgiving received it from Him as a good and perfect gift? Have you done this? Then surely you have worthily interpreted the apostolic word to the honor of God, to your own salvation. For it is beautiful for a man to pray, and many promises are held out to the one who prays without ceasing, but it is even more blessed to return thanks. Then have you worthily interpreted that apostolic word more gloriously than if all the angels spoke in glowing tongues.